All right. This is a great day for me in Florida, the Sunshine State. And today we're going to be talking about young people with young people and some seasonal people. But we're going to be talking about that. This is Unique Euphony Coffee Canvas and Conversation. I want to introduce to you our host today, which is Wesley Alexander Angel Star. Yes, I got it together. Yes, that's a long name. And we also have our co-host, Dr. Lula Bridges. And
really? Okay.
and we got Miss Jan Canada and Mr. Gary Miller, and most of all, our young person, Miss Nyla Peck. Do I say your name right? All right. So now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Youth Leader Wesley.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's
good morning
here, but it is what it is on this Saturday morning. It's gloomy. It's nice and chilly, and I know it's cold for all the other people up north, and they got snow on the ground or whatever. But we are back. I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday. So before we get started, we'll go around to see how everyone's Thanksgiving was. So let's get started with Miss Pastor Barbara Pierce.
Oh, mine was beautiful. Of course, I spent it in Miami. In fact, I'm thinking about spending my birthday in February in Miami too, because I haven't had a birthday yet living in Florida. So I'm going to try that. But I had a great time. Went to a couple of restaurants I never went to before, and we didn't cook this year. Traditionally, we cook every year, but this year we wanted to do something different because it was also my granddaughter's birthday. So we kind of like went to the mall. We went to two places, these Japanese places. We went to an Italian place.
Wow.
Yeah, they was cool. Color Flamingo was the Italian. I think it's canned sushi was the Japanese one. You can eat all you want, and you don't go up to a buffet. They actually serve you at the table. They give you a menu, and you keep ordering off that menu until you get full. What?
I need to go there.
Yes. I did a taster test all over the place. Let me taste this. Let me taste that. Let me taste that. I definitely got my money's worth.
Well, that's awesome.
And then the most fun part about it, guys, is I came back on a train. And I mean, this train was like an Amtrak. It was really nice. They had people on like hostess on there going around giving water. I was like, dang, I feel like I'm on an airplane. It was really, really nice. It was about an hour and something. I was able to go through 5 different cities as I was going and looking at it. And then Palm Beach, Palm Spring Beach, I think it is. Yeah, it was beautiful. So I loved the ride. I had a great Thanksgiving, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to go on and on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Pastor. And Nyla, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was really good. I spent it with my family. We pretty much just ate, played games, things like that. Normal stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Dr. Lula Bridges, good morning.
Good morning. I need to hit your hand because somebody was supposed to call me back. Wonder who that was. Yeah.
Well, I didn't get your number yet.
That's my fault because he tried to say, listen to this, Dr. Lula. He tried to say he didn't have your number, and I was supposed to give it to him yesterday, but he did have your email because that's
right.
Yeah, I emailed you.
You did email me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But I had a very good Thanksgiving. A lot of my family decided to scatter this year, which is unusual for us, but we did. And I decided that I'd go to the Turkey Day Classic. Well, not to the game, but actually to the parade. That was my first time, and I had a ball. I ran into a family that had kids that just would not leave me. And we got tons of candy. So anyway, it was a unique experience. Then we kind of all met up at home afterwards. It was different, and everybody enjoyed themselves. So
that's awesome.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we had fun. Yeah.
And Gary, how was your Thanksgiving?
I had a really good Thanksgiving. I went to a citywide Thanksgiving meal. It was sponsored by Village of Promise before Thanksgiving, and they had a vegan option and a traditional option. The traditional.
That sounds good.
That sounds real good.
And then Thanksgiving Day, I went over to one of my friends. She used to work with me, and I went over to her family's house for Thanksgiving. It was wonderful. So I had a wonderful Thanksgiving too.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Gary, for that. And last but certainly not least, Queen Maya Angelou, Miss Jan Canada. How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, I appreciate the recognition for that. Yes, I went out to Arizona to visit my nephew and his wife, and I had just an awesome time. It was just great. They took me to the various museums out there, to various Indian, I guess, museums, and it was just really, really nice. And the food was delicious. I met his wife family, and we just had a great time. And my nephew, another nephew, was there, so we all just got together and had a marvelous time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and thank you, Miss Canada. So we all enjoy our Thanksgivings. It sounds like mine was very quiet, just me and my grandparents this year. So we had a very quiet day. We looked at Jurassic Park and we looked at Indiana Jones, all three of them.
Wow. That
So,
sounds like, yeah, yeah.
so my grandma fell asleep, and that was it. So,
Yeah.
so it was an awesome, quiet Thanksgiving.
You said
Now,
Jurassic Park was looking at her, huh?
yeah, it was over there asleep. But nevertheless, we enjoyed our Thanksgivings, and here in 2 weeks, I cannot wait to hear, all about what your Christmas plans are and how you enjoyed your Christmas time as well. Now, today, we were off for break for 1 week, of course, last week, which was the weekend after Thanksgiving. And now we're in a whole new month. It's December. We're getting into a time of the Christmas season. But what I do think is very interesting is how this year's holiday season hasn't been like all the previous years, especially with the young people. And also, even a lot of older people are not having it this holiday season.
Mhm.
From all of the things that we have going on in the world, in our communities, it's starting to really show that people are very much, and very much so, in the year 2025, young and old, being very, very impacted by things ongoing in the world right now. Some of those things may or may not be the economy. And then, of course, we're still recovering from a shutdown that we had in November, which was almost through most of the first half of that month. And people are just don't seem to be as giddy in the holiday season as they typically are, especially not Gen Z, which is hilarious to me. So a lot of people, I've seen the reports that have come out, but I've also seen this in the community. Let's talk about just a Black Friday. Typically, people are out shopping and having a good time, but this year, that just wasn't it. Not unless you were at home, online. So I really find it interesting how
I,
this year not only is spending down, but also um, the way that these things that have been happening are impacting many young people and even older people. Go ahead.
I just want to say something, and I don't know if it's from where you were sitting at, or do you have some statistics about Black Friday? Because I'm in the industry, whereas how could I say it? Where I see it differently. You know,
Mhm.
um, there was actually a lot of shopping going on. What is happening is everything is going online now. So you may not see a lot of it in the streets or in the stores, but people are staying home because it's more convenient. I mean, I'm an Amazon queen, okay? So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking that more of it is online. It doesn't make it look like a lot of traffic out there, except for Florida. Now, Florida has traffic every single day. Those people are going somewhere, doing something. But I beg the difference a little bit, unless you can show me some statistics saying that this Black Friday was the worst Black Friday we ever had. I think we did pretty good. I know we did, as Lowe's did very well.
Okay, well, I'm not saying it's the worst Black Friday ever, but what I'm saying
It
is that
changed.
the
You're saying it's
that the
changed. Yeah.
impact between say 5 years ago or even 10 years ago and now is teetotally different. I mean, the average spending on a lot of people is coming down. Unless you're older, it did say that the older people have went up, but younger people, which typically most of these products and things are targeted to the younger audience, but they're not. They just they're not buying that stuff. But besides the point of all of that, there are other things that are going on within our local communities with our youth that need to be addressed. And one of the first things that got me was, and um, I hear a lot of people talking about this, and even when I'm, going around across my own community and seeing things that the young people are doing, why in the world do we have the young people just out here, putting on the masks and think, you can just go around and do something like that. That's a problem that we have ongoing in our community. And I remember when we had Dr. Bridges on a few weeks ago, and she was talking about some things to have the parents involved with certain things. And I do think she mentioned about that problem as well a little bit, with the young men and some people going around putting the mask on and making themselves look like they're public enemy number one. What in the world do we have going on that has changed our environment so much that we have a lot of young people that are just not together at the moment? So,
Well,
Nyla, I asked you that question first.
I really just think it's just really the state of the world we're in right now. I feel like a lot of young people aren't in a good position with, just how the world is going. We aren't really prepared, especially with like COVID and things like that. I think that really offset a lot of young people. So we're just not prepared and we can't, it's hard for people to adapt to
so
the
I'm, I'm
world
gonna.
right now.
I'm glad. Now I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to do this because I'm older. So sometimes if I don't do it right now, I forget about it. Right. So I want to ask you, what makes you think that you guys are not prepared? Well, I mean, you said that you're not really prepared for it. So makes you think? What can we do as a seasoned generation to make you guys prepared for whatever is going on?
I'm not really sure.
And I
um,
think that's what it is. You really don't know. You don't know what to ask or how to act or whatever. And I want to ask Dr. Lula while she's on here because she's an expert at this stuff.
Well, actually, I don't believe that they're not prepared. I think that in life you take every day one day at a time,
Mhm.
and you get up in the morning and or the night before you prepare for your clothes or you prepare for whatever task that you're going to do. You prepare for them. So and then you get out into the world. You take the world one day at a time. There is no preparation that can be made. I mean, if you're not prepared because you don't have the money, is it because of the world or is it because you spent too much or you just don't have the money? So what makes you unprepared for life in general? I think all of us are at that point where we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, the economy, the just about everything is kind of up in the air. But as we know, as we have talked about several times, nothing is new under the skies. I mean,
That's right.
everything is the same, and we just have to realize that um, maybe we need to meditate a little bit more. We need to plan a little bit more about what your day should look like. But preparation starts with where you're at. So, right now let's say I only have $10 and I know I got to eat the rest of the day. So what is it that I can do? How do I prepare myself with this $10 in my pocket that I don't want to spend because then I won't have anything. So everything takes preparation. So you prepare yourself for whatever your circumstances are. You have to see it like that instead of saying, woe is me, I don't have but $10, I'm going to starve today. No, you're going to take that $10 and you're going to break it down. And not only that, you're going to look at it as, I really could lose a few pounds. So I can use this date as an opportunity to eat more green vegetables, So preparation is what you make it, is how you make it. You know what your circumstances are, and you prepare for those circumstances, whatever they are.
Thank you, Dr. Lula. We'll come back to her response. Go ahead, Gary.
I think that no matter young or old, I've heard that we're supposed to be ready in season and out of season, and it's our job to be mentors to younger people. Wesley is a mentor to a lot of people. He's one of my mentors, and anyways, I think that that's a good way for us as more seasoned people to influence the next generation, just to be mentors to them, be lights in their lives.
That's right. That's right.
I agree.
If I may add something, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen, because I forget we can't see you. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, but my thing is, I agree with everything everyone has said, and I want to add on to that. I think it's communication. I think a lot of people, we don't really take time to communicate with each other face to face, one-on-one, because we have all this media stuff going on, the technology, and it pulls us away, pull the young people away from us. And we don't take the time to sit around the table and say, hey, how was your day today? What happened with you? And when I raised my sons, and they're, of course, one is deceased, but when I was raising them, I would take that time and talk with them. What was it like today? What did you go through? And that is very important. The parents are out working. There's nobody really home to talk to the kids. And even if they are there, they're so discombobulated with just trying to survive.
Yes.
Right.
Exist. So to me, it's very important that we do take that time to communicate with our young people. Even as a sub teacher, I would see the children and the teachers not really talking to the children. They're yelling at them. It's from what I saw. But if you pull a child aside and say, hey, let me just talk to you for a moment.
Right.
So I think communication is very, very one-on-one communication.
That's
is
right.
very important.
I also want to say, Ms. Jan, that I was listening to Gary when he said that Wesley is mentoring his mentors. I think he said something to that effect. So a lot of times peer don't always have to be pressure. Sometimes it takes young people to talk to young people.
That's right.
And so I think that's very good, Wesley, that if you're mentoring other people, as long as you're mentoring them the right way and not the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? We got some peer pressure out there that discourage people, younger people, to make them think that they're good, and that's not a good thing. And that to me is called bullying. It's like, oh, you're an A student, so you think you this, and you wear these kind of clothes, so you think you that. That is not mentoring. That is bullying.
That's bullying.
Yeah,
that's
so we have
bullying.
to be very careful between mentoring and bullying.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gary, real quick, and then we'll take a break and reconvene.
All right. Miss Canada, I do agree with what you said. And I'm going to share a little story. Back in 2011, where I live, some tornadoes went through. We were without power for 4 days, and I was not a happy camper. I was pulling out all of my hair. And of course, anyways, the only thing that we could do is go out and meet our neighbors. We had neighborhood barbecues, fellowship, and that's very rare in a day like today. I need to get out, and more.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that will continue this discussion and we'll be right back real quick. We're going to take our first break. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
That's not okay. There we go. Okay, so we've been having a really good discussion thus far about specifically how some things are ongoing in society and the world right now are impacting the young people. So I want to circle back to a few responses. All of you did some really good responses, and I want to go back to Nyla and then go to Dr. Bridges. So with Nyla, she said preparedness. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I would say with COVID, really is probably the number one that left a lot of young people feeling like they weren't prepared for the world. Uh, I don't think anybody was prepared really. But
Mm-mm.
young people, it hit hard because obviously, like Jan said, communication face to face wasn't really a thing. Um, so just a lot of aspects, like a lot of social aspects and things like that, it really left a lot of young people feeling stunted. So ever since then, I feel like young people just haven't been able to really have a chance to develop those skills as much. Um, like if they were to just live out those years normally. So I think that really affected the younger generation a lot.
I totally agree with you. I most definitely do. I do think that people being on Zoom or on the computer a lot, we've gotten kind of comfortable with that now, where it's like, oh, well, we don't need to go, out to a meeting. So that does mess up with some people. And Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Bridges was
Mm-hmm.
talking about that it may not necessarily be the preparedness, but there could be more to it. So go ahead, Dr. Lula.
Yeah, I think there could be a more to it, and we talked about the pandemic, but I saw the pandemic, I guess, as an opportunity to spend more time with my family.
Right.
Gave you an opportunity to actually talk because you couldn't leave the house.
Mhm.
I had some families that told me that they actually broke up during the pandemic because they actually had to communicate with each other. They were moving in such fast direction that when they actually had to sit still and talk to each other, they found out things about each other that they didn't want to know. They
Mm.
found out they didn't like each other. Matter of fact, I had a client who's a driver, and he had the same problem. He's not a Gen Z. He's probably just a little older than a Gen Z, but his thing was, I loved my wife as long as I was on the road. Once I got off the road and got a chance to get to know her, the world is coming to an end. But when I'll go back to what I was saying about being prepared. Once you look at your circumstances, you have to decide how your life is going to be. Even as young people, you have to decide. But in your decision, make sure you are looking at the positive side. You can always look at the negative side. It's going to always be there. But try your best to start off with the positives first. And then you take the time to see how those positives are going to impact the negatives, not how the negatives are going to impact your positives.
That's
Okay.
right.
What I mean is, if you are able to eat and you have clothing and you are able to go places that you want to go, then first you be thankful. you know what? I'm able to do this, this, and this, and this. You see the things that you can do first. And then once you realize what you can do first, then the things that you can't do won't be as impactful.
Mhm.
But if you spend your time worrying about all the negatives, I mean, I'm not saying don't at least acknowledge the negatives. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you start with the positives first. You know, okay, well, we didn't have as much money. Some people, EBTs got cut off, you know, all these other things. That did happen. But now you learn to budget. Okay. A lot of people may have said this year, Wesley, thinking about what you said, a lot of people may have said, you know what? This may happen again. You know what? They may take my food, my food stamps again, or they may take my check. They may hold on to my check again. So I'm not going to be as crazy as I was last year. I'm going to hold on to something.
Mhm.
See, that's what I'm saying. Self-preservation. Our bodies are designed for self-preservation. You know, God give us a mind to think and to be critical thinkers. But you don't have to think of all the negative things first. You think of all the positive things, and then you work toward correcting the negative things. Okay,
That's
and then that way you find out life ain't bad. You know,
mhm.
the world ain't as bad. Let me put it. Let me tell you what I did. Okay, so during COVID, believe it or not, all the hotels were so cheap. I got all my shots and I traveled all over the United States during COVID. Okay. I got on a plane cheap. I got in a hotel. The hotel in DC that I stayed at, when I got ready to go to a conference there, that conference, it was $400 a night with taxes and everything. When I traveled, I paid $89 for it during COVID. Okay. So, you know, and I took all my shots. I also used made sure I had my antibiotics and all these other things to you know to make sure the room was clean, to make sure people around me, you know, didn't infect me. I mean, I took precautions, but I got a chance to travel, which is something I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, if you look at the positive, yeah, COVID could have been bad, but COVID could have been the best thing in the world for a lot of families.
Right.
It could have been exciting. It could have, you know, it was exciting for me. I love Cherry Jubilee in DC. That's why I went to DC in 2020 because I love Cherry Jubilee. I love the cherry trees. I just love being around that environment during that time. So it was so cheap for me that I was able to go and spend that time, whereas I couldn't have done it. You know, I could have done it, but it would have cost me so much more money. So
Right.
I'm saying, look at the good first. Okay, look at your blessings. God gives us all these blessings. We have to accept those blessings and be thankful for them, and then say, Lord, how can I work these out over here?
Mhm.
And you'll see your days will be brighter. Things that you never thought about will come to light. You know, so think positive. You know, work on those things and then pull in those negative things and find solutions for those negative things because
Thank you.
they could be growth periods. You
Right.
know.
Right. And
Hmm.
thank you, Dr. Bridges, for that. That was well said. Go ahead, Gary.
Dr. Bridges, I love that, and that's what we call an attitude of gratitude. We're
There you
thankful.
go. That's exactly right.
That's
Yes,
right. That's right. Now, some things.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
go, before you go for it, I want to add, piggyback a little bit off of Dr. Lula because you're right, Dr. Lula. I did a lot of traveling during the pandemic also, and also that's when I actually moved to Texas during the pandemic. And let me tell you something, I got everything so easy because people wanted to make money, so they almost gave it to you. Okay, like I was looking for an apartment that cost like it was like $2,500 or whatever. I was able to move in for like $1,200. You see, and then guess what? After that year was over, after the pandemic was over, it went back up. But I was only going to be there for a year. So what I'm saying is that we did get a lot of things. It was easy for me to get my car. I didn't have to make no down payment. It was just, it's so much easier. And like you said, it did bring out the fact that we can come closer together by using Zoom or whatever other platform, because we still did everything, but we did it online. And that's where we at now with the National Children's. I love it because the kids are from everywhere. So we get to hear everybody's opinions from all over and not just that city that you're in. And a lot of times the kids don't know what's going on anywhere else, but when we can come together and have a discussion about what's going on in your town or what's going on in your town, it is a positive,
A lot of positives.
And I hear people complaining all the time about technology. We older people, they don't need to be doing this. Well, get your kids and your grandkids ready, because this is the way it's going to be. We are not going back to the old times.
But the other good thing is about that is get your grandkids and your kids to show you how to do it. Spend some time with them.
I do.
And
it's a good
that's
thing.
exactly what I was thinking. Thank you, ladies, because just spending a little time with a young person, it really enlightens us. I know it does for me, because the time that I spent with my great nephew on the airplane and going out to Arizona, it was an experience, because he was more aware of more things than I could have ever been. And he was like, auntie, do this, do that. He took care of me, and I was supposed to be there to take care of him, watch out for him. With the knowledge that I had about being aware of the surroundings, but the technology part of it, all the different things, it was like he took such good care of me.
Yeah, they're
and when
so
he
smart.
made it out to Arizona, where his uncles were, my sister's 2 sons, and they were like, he's not talking to us. They were whispering, but when they went to some type of basketball game or something, they all came back all open and talking and having so much fun, because they spent that time with him
together.
one
That's right.
one. It is so very important.
Yeah, and
It's very important.
And you do have a point there. My 2-year-old great grandbaby, she's half Dominican Republic, and so she's already taking Spanish. I want her to grow up so we can take some of those trips to some Hispanic places, so she can be my translator.
That's right.
I just thought that was funny. I'll be old and they'll be pushing me around in a wheelchair, but at least she can translate for me.
That's right.
Right.
Another thing I want to say right quick, I have made a note of this, is that when Dr. Lula was talking about, how if something happens and you have to adjust your budget and everything, I thought about Will Smith, actor Will Smith. I remember when he did Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he made a little money. He had watches and cars and stuff like that. And he wasn't taught how to manage his budget. And he talked about how he went dead broke after coming off Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But of course, with his gifts and everything, he had the second opportunity. So when he came back, now what is he now? Billionaire? So you see, sometimes we just have to teach ourselves or get someone to show us how to do it. And so, there's always things to do to make your life improve. Matter of fact, I wish I had the same people talking to me about my money.
Heard that.
Oh, wow. So that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But okay. So from that, this is what really, based on our awesome discussion that we're having so far, the concerns right now of the up and coming generation, we've kind of covered some of these. The main concerns, statistically speaking, that if you talk to younger people, even some of your grandchildren, if you talk to some of them, I do believe that a lot of us who are in that age bracket now, we are very aware of a lot of things that we probably wouldn't have been aware of maybe, 4 or 5 years ago, still in and out of school. And now that you're actually out of school, you're paying more attention to things ongoing. Some of these things are a lot more important as you get to be older and become more of an adult. So
Mhm.
job security, of course, is one, especially in this age of Gen AI, that a lot of young people are very, very concerned about if they're going to have a job in 20, 25, 30 years because of Gen AI. And every time, especially this year, if you notice how weird this year has been, seems like every other week you hear Amazon laying off 40,000 worker, IKEA laying off 100,000 worker, this place laying off this many thousand workers and supposedly replacing them with AI. But then as more things come out about it, they're actually, some of them are getting replaced with Gen AI, but some are also getting replaced with people, immigrants, H-1B visa people. So you got people coming from overseas who they're bringing in, but they don't tell you that on the report, which then leads to more fear and discussion that it's Gen AI replacing people. Now, still, that's a possibility because some people are getting replaced with that, but they're not telling us the whole story, which takes us to the next thing, which Miss Jen discussed very good, and that's communications and digital narratives. Young people are very concerned about communications, not only with family, but also with other people, and also things they see online. They do not believe most of those digital narratives are true any longer, especially if you go and do more research into said narratives. It does not appear that they are realistic to current
Mhm.
things happening, not only to their young people's community, but also to pretty much any normal human being who has to go through life type of situations. Now, here's the next one. And these two we didn't touch on quite yet, but mental health and gun violence are also things that are very concerning right now to the young people. Gun violence specifically because in some communities we still have gang violence, mainly 20 something year olds, some most of the time even teenagers, either going to jail or getting killed. Okay, so a lot of people are concerned about the gun violence going on in certain communities still, and most of the time, if I just put it bluntly, it is black on black crime. So that's something else that's a problem, right? Within the younger
Mhm.
community. There could be
Mhm.
many different types of programs like Almost Lost in the System or like Echo and Flame that could help some of those young people who, get them on the right path and figure out, okay, what can we do to prepare you to do something so you don't go into this life of crime or, get taken out by gun violence. But then that's where mental health comes in because some of them, there's some mental health issues. And then for a lot of young people now, we have, Nyla, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but within our generation right now, they said we have a loneliness epidemic where a lot of
Mhm.
us don't have a lot of friends. A lot of us are not sociable with people, and we are more of what they call homebodies, right
Mhm.
now. So there are other things within that there's other problems that we're looking at as well that contribute to all these many different factors. So, so with mental health, which I was about to come to Pastor Pierce, she knows all about that. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I did write down some notes when I knew we were going to be talking about this, and that's always one of my pet peeves is to talk about mental health because I go through mental health, and I've been going through mental health before I was an adolescent, and since I was in elementary school. So I've been dealing with this. This has been a struggle for me my entire life. And so what I had written down, it says depression and anxiety disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability in adolescents worldwide. Half of all adult mental health disorders begin at the age of 18, but most cases are undetected or untreated. So that's the problems that we're having with mental health because a lot of people don't even recognize mental health. And I think that a lot of labels that kids or young people are getting today, they didn't have that back then, like ADHD and ADD. They didn't talk about that. You were retarded. You know,
Mhm.
so you was crazy. And so then when I look back after teaching special ed, and then I look back at some of the things that I had, I was a little bit of both of them, ADD and ADD.
Mhm.
So, but I didn't know that at the time. So you just was medicated and counseled all the time. My mother sent me to all kinds of counselors. I mean, I went through a lot coming up and struggling, and I still am now. That's probably why I don't have a husband. But anyway,
It's because you're smart.
But mental health is a very serious thing, and a lot of people that don't know of it or haven't been through the struggle, they don't really know. So yeah, I thank you for bringing that up, Wesley, because that is very important. I did make notes of that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I personally working with young people, and being in their generation, I personally see it as well. I mean, and then not only that, the reports, at least some professionals can target every little thing. Now, not a lot of people reports actually say mental health; they say other things on it, but mental health covers a lot of stuff. So that's a one catch-all thing. So it's good that that was mentioned on the research before we started doing this topic. But those were some things that stood out to me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. That's some of the things that the homelessness is going out there. People, they drive by them all the time and they look at them like they're disgusted and everything, but they don't know their life, where they came from.
Right.
That's right.
And I see it every day. I pass this one street, of course, it's Martin Luther King, and I go through there and I see all these homeless people now walking. I think sometimes, what was their life about? What made them like this? And it's a shame that we can't help everybody. All we can do is pray, and I give them a little change every now and then, but it's probably not going to get any better unless all of us get involved in it. All of us have to be involved in order to help that. We have to have more places or have more people to know, like Gary knows, people that have organizations that are helping homeless people. We have to get spaces for them, more education for them, more jobs for them, medication for them. I mean, we just have to try to do that. And it's hard for one or two people to do it. The community has to do it.
That's right.
Right.
It is a community effort.
That's
Go ahead,
right.
Gary.
Right.
And
Go ahead,
you were
Gary. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. We are all better together. The community has to come together to do something. But I remember about 2 years ago, there was this elementary school student where I live. He brought a gun to school, and they found out that he got it out of his dad's gun cabinet, and his dad had a criminal history with the law too. So the HPD charged his dad, and I'm not sure exactly what the situation turned out to be, but I believe that the parents need to keep their gun cabinets locked up, and just keep an eye on their kids as well.
That's right. Go ahead, Dr.
Yeah. I feel sorry for kids these days. I really do, because they go through so much against each other. I mean, a lot of the damage is happening among themselves. A lot of times people getting into gangs because they want protection. I mean, that's always been the case. Just about every person that I've talked to about the gang, they want protection. And if they're out there by themselves, then, they could be killed or whatever. So they worry about that. But the bullying in school brings on a lot of anxiety. People are scared to go to school. I don't want to go to school because they're going to talk about me. I don't have this or I don't have that. And so there's a lot of anger in this, to me, in the last two generations. There's a lot of anger. A lot of people are hostile to each other. And now you 20 somethings probably can tell me why, but the times that I have had to work with young people, I've had to hear the anger, hear the hostility that they're feeling, not just about them, about the person that they are working against, but also about themselves. They're angry. Why all this anger? So I would like to hear from you all to help me understand why all this anger. What is that about?
Nyla.
I really couldn't tell you, honestly. I really couldn't tell you. I I
He
don't.
kind of
really-
caught
If
you
I
off
may,
guard, there, didn't he? He caught you off guard. I understand. I'm gonna protect you. Don't worry about it. I got you.
She's,
if I may intervene here or
go ahead, Miss
interject,
Canada.
yeah, we're talking about a lot of different things here. The way I see it, when we speak about black on black crime and loneliness epidemic and mental health, and I say that to me, it all stems from so much mistreatment of people.
Mm.
And society itself has been very cruel to the Black race. And I'm not going to make it about a black or white thing or racism, but we know that a lot of people had so much anger, and here they are trying to raise a family. And what do you do when you've been depressed and oppressed, and you're trying to raise your children? I grew up in an extended family, and I saw my uncles, how they behaved, but they were really good men, but they weren't given the opportunities to be men. And I think a lot of it stemmed from some of that. I'm not going to make it so deep that we can't get back on our subject. But when we talk about mental health and all the stuff that's going on television, when you turn on your TV, just turn it on. What's the first thing you're going to see? Something about violence, something about guns, and people not really knowing how to love one another. They've been taught to be brutal. They've been taught to think to the negative. We got to start thinking to the positive.
I
That's
just
right.
want to
Need to turn the TV off.
Yeah, we only have a little bit of time, so I just wanted to say this to Nyla, because I know that Nyla is one of the young ones on here, and sometimes with the age groups, some kids get more guidance than others. Some of us kids are sheltered. I think my granddaughter, but she's in the military now, so she's learning how to be hardcore now. But you know what I'm saying? So I just think that this is a good program for someone or others like Nyla that has not been exposed to some of these things, and she gets caught off sometimes because she really hasn't gone through some of this stuff. And so you see what I'm saying? So I was looking at things, and it says the primary tragedies happening among young people in the U.S. are preventable causes of death, which include accidents, especially drug overdose and car accidents, which we never talk about. And I know that when I'm driving here in Florida, these young people be driving crazy. So I can see why a lot of that is happening among our young people. Homicide, that's the black on black crime or any kind of crime where we're killing each other, right? The firearms, which you guys have really talked about. But here's one, suicide.
Yes.
When Dr. Bridges was talking about a couple of weeks ago about, listening to things on the internet and killing themselves, we don't talk a lot about suicide because we don't hear these kids, and they be trying to tell us they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And
yes.
Brush it away and say, go somewhere and sit down or stop. And sometimes they don't say anything to you. It's just the way they be acting. I work with a young guy. He walks around rapping all the time. His head is all. And then I ask him when he comes in, I said, how you doing? Oh, you don't want to hear about how I'm doing. He's only like 20 years old. What are you going through? And I don't get a chance to talk to him because I'm working. But those are the kids that are committing suicide because nobody ever asked them what is going on. They say they're crazy or something,
Right.
Wrong with those kids. No, there's nothing wrong with them. They just haven't had anybody to sit down and talk to them. The communication.
And actually spend some time with them.
That's that communication part. That's the part that they don't get.
That don't get it. And even in the churches, a lot of young people, and Wesley know, a lot of the young people, they don't do anything because they say that the churches don't take the time to find out their ideas and what they may want to bring to them.
That's right.
That's a true statement, and they still don't want to do it. Gary, go ahead, and then we're going to take our ad break and then wrap this up and go to our canvas and announcements.
All
go
right,
ahead, Gary.
Pastor Pierce, I love that what you said. All it takes is just somebody to listen to the younger generation. One of my friends, I go to church with him. He's a mentor to kids ages 14 through 17, and that's what he does. He just spends time with them. They go on hikes, and he listens to the young people.
Right.
So,
That's
so
all.
this was a good conversation. So I'm glad we touched on those things because it was also on here. Why does mental health lead to suicide? Also, the communications, but also some other things like purpose driven. A lot of young people
Mhm.
are not purpose driven, and
Mm-hmm.
Right.
authenticity. We make young people, and I've seen this even in the church where they make young people try to be something and not be them or be their authentic selves, which leads to some
Right.
of the
I agree.
mental health issues.
Mhm.
Even
So
Keeps
parents,
them away
even
from church.
parents even parents be having things that they want their kids to do, and their kids don't want to do it. I've been through
exactly.
that.
Right.
So to
Well, you
that,
know,
go ahead.
sometimes I think that young people they feel like they can't do it or they're embarrassed to do it. So sometimes it's good to encourage your children to do things. That's not. I don't see that as being really a problem, but I see it as once you know your child and you know that child is really not capable of that. So why are you pushing that child to do that? And it makes them feel bad about themselves, but things that you know your child can do and
And you
but
encourage
they
them
don't
that,
feel
yeah,
comfortable.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right. You
encourage
encourage them.
them to
Help them
do.
see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. And
Yeah,
last
that's
thing,
exactly right.
to
Mm-hmm.
piggyback off of that, to wrap up our conversation for today, supportive culture. That's another thing that young people really need to prepare and to have their steps put forward. If their parents, family, older person, mentor can also set a supportive culture. You just heard the
I
lady
agree.
speak about
Mhm. Mhm.
communications, and you just heard Miss Pastor Pierce talk about suicide. Well, if you have a supportive culture, a lot of these issues we just discussed wouldn't even come up in a conversation. So
Right.
awesome job, everybody, with that conversation. We have 3 more ads, and then we're going to wrap up with our canvas and announcements. Okay, so those are those ads. I didn't want to forget about them. Now, today's canvas is from our very own Pastor Barbara Pierce today.
All right. Thank you. I didn't
So
know that. I didn't know you had that.
let's look at
Yeah.
this here.
That was to put in the Black History Museum last February, but of course, I put another one in there, African Asian Fury, which sold in 3 days. I
There
thought
we
that,
go.
yeah, I like that much better. I like to do the jewelry and the sparkling, and that is actually done with compound and corking. So where you see the
Wow.
mortar is, that's corking, and where you see the different colors, that's actually done and compound. Yeah.
That's a beautiful piece. I
Well,
saw it in
thank you.
person.
You sure
So,
did. That's
so
right. Thank you
beautiful,
so
beautiful piece.
much.
So that is our canvas for today. We'll skip hot mic, open mic, and we'll resume that next week. We had a
Okay.
great conversation today, so we're just not gonna get no poems in right now. All
Okay.
right, announcements. Let's go ahead and get those up
Okay,
and out the way.
so of course, we started back with the National Children's Church Academy. We're going to start some new stuff at the beginning of the year, but we're still going through the Old Testament right now. And what we'll do is we're going to be bringing in different conversations starting the beginning of the year, and then going back and finishing up the Bible, because there's 66 books in the Bible. It's going to take us a long time to get through it. But there are other conversations like we're having today with the mental health and everything that we'll talk more about in weeks to come.
Awesome. And this is coming up on the 18th and 19th. We've been talking about it for many months, but here we are. There's the flyer and information to join us at the conference coming up on December 18th and December 19th here in Texas with our very own pastor, Barbara Pierce, being our night one speaker. And we got another guest speaker Sister Osasana the second night. She's a young lady. She's 21, so I can't wait to hear what she has to say either. And also February. I'm not gonna go through it, but same thing. All right, Miss Pierce.
Okay, so Unique Euphony had their anniversary in March, and we also have a annual book fair and also a fashion show. Janice from Another Planet will be doing her journey to Jesus, and we already finished that book, and it'll be coming out. So it's going to be an awesome time. It's a 2-day event where we have all the book fair and stuff on one day, and we also have the dinner and everything that night.
And remember, we will not be here on December 27th. So please remember that there will be no episode on December 27th. Everyone, that is our break for Christmas holiday. So awesome conversation today. We'll let everyone give a few last comments as we wrap it up. Pastor Pierce.
Yeah, I just think this was an awesome conversation. I think we covered all the bases from suicide to car accidents to mental health. I think we did a very good job, and I'm hoping that Nyla, being the youngest person here, have absorbed some of that information, because she's a very sweet young lady, and I just know that she hasn't been out there hard, not like most of us have. I know I have. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, so I'm from the streets basically, and so I learned a whole lot more than my daughter and my granddaughter, because they were more sheltered. So when we have these conversations, they don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay.
That's
so
right.
I understand if we don't understand everything, but hopefully being in this platform, we all learn from each other.
Thank you, Nyla, who's older than me, but go ahead. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I really appreciated everyone's perspectives. It definitely was helpful and definitely very insightful during the conversation today.
Awesome. Dr. Lula Bridges, who did an awesome job with her PhD.
Oh,
Our expert.
has nothing to do with a PhD. It's just called life. This is how you live life.
We all got a PhD.
Yeah, we all got a PhD. If we have lived life up until this point, we have a PhD in life. That's right.
I have an honorary doctorate.
Okay.
So there you go.
Dr. Bridges.
You know, life is what we make it. I've heard that so many times growing up. Life is what you make it. I didn't know what that meant, but I have learned to appreciate. The more I get into being spiritual, the more I know about God, the more I know about life itself. It kind of teaches me that with prayer and meditation, there's so much more I can do with my life than I think I can. That little thing about I think I can, and she did. She did it because she thought she could do it. And so that's what the message I want us to think about and to feel good about whoever we have been blessed to be. Nobody is here accidentally. Everybody here on this earth today has a plan. God has a plan for you. And so I just think we need to reach for that plan and know that we can do it well.
Thank you, Dr. Bridges. And Gary?
And like Dr. Bridges, like you said, we each have a plan. We're here for a purpose. And I think that we're all one family. I don't see, color or race, we're all one. And my friend said that even Jesus was an immigrant. And I believe that we have to fan the flame. We have to fan the flame of encouragement and just speak positive things and be mentors and just be light to the next generation. So thank you, everybody, for the conversation. It has been amazing, and I am very thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. I appreciate it.
Amen. Yes.
And Miss Canada to end us off.
Well, I really had a wonderful time here today. The conversation has been very insightful for me and encouraging. And just to be around people, the conversation we need to have these type of conversations. We just have to, because our young people are going to be lost if we don't. Some people, like you all were saying, some people are sheltered and don't see all that is going on. And then you have others, that's all their life consists of being just dragged through the mud. So we have to try to talk to them. We have to try to reach out. We have to care for people. And I love people. I love all kinds of people. And it doesn't have anything to do with race or gender or anything like that. Whatever your person decides for themselves. But we have to help them reach that goal. We have to help people.
I totally agree with all of you. What an awesome job. And we'll see you.
Oh, I just want to say before you go, you've done an awesome job too, Wesley, today. You've done an awesome job.
Great job, Wesley. Yes.
Just get my camera right. You got to help me.
Yeah, we're going to figure that one out.
Okay. All right.
What's going
guys,
on?
I'll see you later. Everybody be safe.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.